Brad parked his Monte Carlo and turned to his passengers. We get in and we get out. It's that simple. It doesn't matter how many there are in there. Once they open the door, you kick it in the rest of the way and we go in, guns out and in their face. 3 people with guns drawn will shut up 3 times our number if they're smart. Shit, even the stupid ones don't move. Bradley, the mastermind of this caper, eyes over his companions to get their measure. The first response comes from Kurt. What if someone in there has a gun? What the fuck do you think? Brad shot back to him. Take the butt of the gun and smack them in the skull with it and then put the bang bang end in their eye. They ain't gonna be reaching for shit after that. I'm telling you guys. I've done this 100 times. Half or more are going to be too stoned to realize what's happening, and Joey knows it's the cost of doing business. There's a street tax in this game, and everybody's got to pay it. Especially after what he did to Jay. What about his girl? Asked Jay. Did y'all listen to anything I said before we got here? You put the guns in everyone's face, so they all know what's up. I'm running through till I find the mouthy bitch, and she's going to take me to the money. I'll deal with her. We're in and out in less than 2 minutes. Brad's Chevy sat in the front of the motel. It had been there for years, running on the custom of truck drivers, prostitutes who paid by the hour, and the off-the-books shop that Joey ran in the back. When it was first built in the early 60s, it must have been a decent little place for families, lovers, or just a lone traveler to stop over for a weekend. The office and 8 adjoining rooms, 4 to each side, ran parallel with the county road in the front, while 3 more sections with 10 rooms each boxed in a courtyard. All 38 rooms had little porches in the rear with privacy fences that opened to the piazza. At its center was a 7-foot-tall fountain, the kind with the tears that overflowed to the one underneath. Flower gardens and shrubbery-lined walkways scattered with benches and tables throughout to sit and relax. This whole area had dozens of businesses to keep someone occupied around back then. There were fast food restaurants, a couple strip malls, and a local museum that had done pretty well for what it was, holding claim to more scheduled circus stops than any other county in the country. The owner of the museum had dedicated it to several famous circus acts, and the exhibits were made of props, photos, and other artwork from the freak shows that were the largest attractions of any circus. It had all gone now. Some of the buildings were in various stages of deterioration, leaving only this motel and a Waffle House a mile and a half away, still open for business. There had been talk of taking out the freeway exit, but even that would cost money the county didn't see the need to spend out here. This motel had changed owners several times, and its latest owners were a local family that took it over about 3 years ago. There was the old man and his 2 kids, Joey and Liz. The old man must be in his mid to late 80s and seems to want to just keep himself something to do. Liz helped out in the office when she was sober. Sober meaning when she wasn't too high to stand, and Joey ran custom in the back. Liz never booked anyone in the back section of the motel, so that whole row is Joey's to do with what he will. The out to lunch sign would go up when Liz had a delivery to make for her brother, who never left the premises. With the current 3 proprietors, some private fences were more private than others, and the only flora appearing anywhere in the courtyard were the weeds thrusting up from the cracks nature provided for them. Rumor had it that Joey had made his own contribution to the plant life growing somewhere back there, but it wouldn't be on display to stroll through. I'm going to do the special knock on the door, and when we move to the left with Jay so they can't see us peep through the hole away from the window on the right, Brad explained. Kurt, they don't know your face, so you just stand there, and as soon as that door cracks, the smallest bit, kick that fucker in with everything you got. Me and Jay will run in first, and you come in behind us. Have your guns in your hand, but don't put your fingers on the trigger. Don't even have your gun cocked. Once they see the guns, they'll do what we say, and there's no reason anyone has to die. A robbery goes unreported here. Joey's kind of crazy, but I don't think even he would not report a body getting left in his room. Not to mention gunshots might snap these dope zombies into reality and even wake the old man up to come around with a shotgun. We're just here for the money and a little bit of revenge for you, Jay. Clear? Both men assented. Jay and Brad pulled on their balaclavas. 3 deep breaths from Brad and the rusty hinges of the Chevy's car doors screeching in protest to being opened concealed the sound of Jay chambering around. The 3 men run down the right side of the building walkway, hugging the wall so once past, any lodger looking out their window in response to a sound wouldn't be able to see them. By the time they passed down the line, Wouldn't be able to see them by the time they passed down the line. In a matter of seconds, they're to the corner of the back row. Without making a sound, they walked to their positions in front of room 19, just adjacent to the room at the center of the rear building, where they could hear music and low chatter permeating through the walls. The three men stop to look at each other. Brad holds up 3 fingers. 2, 1, and knocks. "Someone answer the fucking door," a voice calls from inside. Nothing. Brad knocks again. "Answer the goddamn..." The door cracks open. Without pause, Kurt kicks it as hard as he can. The 2 masked men rush in screaming almost in unison, "Everyone get the fuck down now." Brad roars, "Don't make me shoot you." Without the slightest reluctance, 8 people are face down on the ground with their hands to their side while one man slumps in the chair, eyes closed and unmoving. There are 3 women in the room, 2 brunettes and a blonde. Brad grabs the blonde by the back of the hair and picks her up off the ground. Brad's 6 foot, 230-pound frame picked up the woman with ease. "Where's the money and where the fuck is Joe?" Brad barks. "I'm right here," cries Joey. "Please don't hurt her." Jay wordlessly walks over to the responding voice and pulls him up by his belt, almost ripping his pants completely off, throwing him into a recliner. "Just tell them." Jay punches Joey in the mouth before he can finish the sentence. "There's a hidden cupboard beneath the kitchen sink in the back," the blonde cried. "Push on the bottom right corner and it will fall off. Everything is in there." In response, Kurt ran to the back and in seconds was back with a backpack in his hands. Eyes wide as saucers and a smile on his face. Brad throws the weeping woman to the floor. He and Kurt make their way from which they came. Brad looks back and sees Jay pulling a ski mask off. Brad screams, "What the hell are you doing?" Jay's only response was a smile as he turns to look Joey in the eye. "Didn't think you'd see me so soon, did you?" Kurt was gone, but Brad was still standing in the threshold. Pleads, "Don't do this, Jay. We did what we agreed to do. Let's go." Jay looked to Brad. "Sorry." Joey, frozen in fear, sees Jay turn back to him and raise the pistol to his face. Bang! The 8 people on the floor start screaming and crying, and the slumbering man on the couch awakens with a confused look on his face. Brad bolts from the door, not looking to see if his partner was to follow. After looking at the ruin that was Joey's face, Jay drops his gun and exits the motel room.